Yeah, so welcome back, and now close all. And now what we'll do, we'll create a new REST endpoint which will return student object. Okay, so file new Spring starter project. I'll write here as a student. Or simply we can, for our understanding, we'll write get student project. So next, select Spring Web. Next, finish. So this is our get student project, and here inside Java I will write one new package and give the package name as entity. Again I will create a new package, give a name as a controller, finish. Right, so inside entity package we have to create, we have to return a student object. So for that we should have a student class also, no? Student entity. So create new class, give a name as a student, and finish. So inside the student, string first name, string last name, or simply we can create first name and last name only. Okay, we create only first name and last name. So this is our student class. This is not the entity actually. What is the JPA entity, that we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, this is a simple student class, and for the student class we should have a constructor. Just generate a constructor, generate constructors using field, select all, generate, and then generate getter side setters. For this, select all and generate. Great. So this is our basic student class, first name, last name. This is parameterized constructor, and these are the getter setters. Okay, so in the controller class we'll write one controller, student controller. So remember this convention, this is student is a resource and controller is a suffix. So this naming convention is very important, guys. So in the student controller, let me first define this as a REST controller. So we have to return a get endpoint, right, which will return the student object. So public student get student. It will simply return first name is Jay, last name is Mani, and make this method as a REST endpoint. So for this we will require request mapping annotation, give a path as a /student. So this is our REST controller. This is controller class. Inside this controller class we have one REST endpoint which will return a student object. Okay, yeah. So come to the base package. This is our springboot application, run as springboot app, springboot app, run as a springboot app. So okay, it was my workspace problem. Yeah, so we'll run the springboot application, run as springboot app. Yeah, and we can check our Tomcat server is up and running. And just we'll go see, this is our controller class, and yeah, I have written this control class again. So let me just write that REST controller annotation. To make this method as a REST endpoint, we have to use request mapping annotation, and we will pass here as a slash word. Okay, so whenever from the browser will request for this endpoint slash student, this method will be called, and it will simply return a student object, right? So this is a Java object. Let's see, then we'll discuss. Just 1 minute, let me again start. Run as a springboot app. So actually internally we are using the REST controller annotation. Internally uses @response body, so that's why see, so 8080 and slash student. See, so it is giving us first name as a J, last name as a Mani. But if you will observe, this is our Java object, right? This is our Java object, new student. This is our Java object. It is returning a Java object, but at the browser we can see this is a JSON, right? So internally it converts the Java object into a JSON, right? So we don't have to write any code to convert this Java object into JSON. Internally the response body annotation will take care of these things, right? Yeah, great. So now, so this is our simple REST endpoint which will return a student object. Now we will write a new REST endpoint which will return a list of students, and again we will write some conditions over there. Based upon that conditions, we want some only the number of students which will satisfy that condition, right? Let's check. Yeah, so just stop these things, close on, and again I will create a new project, file, new Spring Starter project, give a name as get students project, list of students, Java 21, other things are same. Package name is I will home.jsn.base, and here you home.jsn. So here we will require Spring Web dependency, next, and finish. So this is our get students project, right? So inside our Java, this is our base package. We will write here one package. The name of that package will be controller package. Again inside base I will write a new package, that is a entity package, and inside this again I will write a new package, that is a service package. Right, so see, this is our entity. So inside entity I will write one class, that is a student class. So for the student we will have we'll have fields like first name, last name, right, and we'll write some getter setters for this. This is our constructor. Select all and generate getter setters with fields, right? So this is our standard. See, in the next lecture when we will perform CRUD operations, that time I will tell you that how to make this class as an entity for the database. Right now we are not, this is only a class, a student class, simple Java class. It is not an entity, but to make it like used to, I am creating it as an entity. Means I am creating this class inside an entity package, but it's not a JPP, it's not a JPP entity right now. When we'll write @entity annotation over here, at that time it will be an entity, JP entity, right? So that we'll discuss in the next lectures. So this is student class, and now we have to write one service for the student class. So I will write student service. So now what I want to do is, let's just check, you will understand. I will take one array list of type student, give it name as students is equal to so here I will create one method of public okay. So we have to import this list from java.util. We have to import the student. Great. So now we'll add some students in this list. Students dot add okay. We'll add some more students. Okay, and simply it will return students. Okay, all right. So this is a student service class and it will return students. Now we will write one controller class. So student controller. So inside the student controller we want the student service object. So student service std service. we have to import the student service. All right. We will require, see, this is a student service object or instance of the student service, and we want to auto wire it, right? So basically we can auto wire using basically two ways, like setter dependency or the constructor. But the setter dependency is not mandatory, constructor dependency is mandatory to inject, right? So if the dependency is mandatory, then we should go for a constructor. So this is a mandatory dependency, because without this object we cannot access the student list, right? So that's why we are using one constructor, and automatically Spring Boot will take care of this dependency injection, right? Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to create an endpoint which will return list of students, right? Sorry. Get students. So we have to import list. It is not returning right now. Import student, and just for a while add null. So this is our RESTful service, and we'll call dot get students, right? And it will simply return this list. So what we have done till now, we have created one student class, right? First name, last name, we have one parameterized constructor, and we have setter getters, right? That's all. Then we have one student service. It will return a list of students, right? It will return list of students. And in this controller class, we are injecting this student service object by using a parameterized constructor. Spring Boot will take care of injecting this parameterized constructor argument by default using dependency injection using auto wiring, right? And now we have created one method which will return a list of students. Now we have to make this method as a what? REST endpoint. That's why we will use request mapping annotation, and here slash students, and to make this controller class as a controller, we have to use this REST controller annotation, right? So now this controller class is a REST controller. This is our REST endpoint which will return list of students. So first we will check this thing, and next I will tell you some more conditions in this. So go to the base package, open this file, run a Spring Boot app. Yeah, so here it is saying that some exception, consider defining bin of type com.json student service. So it is saying that student service is not a bin. Okay, so we'll go to the student service, and this is service class, but we have not mentioned it as with any annotation. See, you should able to be identify the exception, right? So this is student service class. This is a normal Java class. How can Spring know that this is a service class? So that's why we have to use a service annotation over here. That's what this exception is telling us, right? Great. So go again and run a Spring Boot app. So our Tomcat service up and running on 8080 port number. Just go to there, and instead of student, just write students, and see here you will get the array of JSON. So this is the first array, first name J, last name Mane. This is second array, first name Ajay, Mane, etc, etc. So this is a list of, this is a simple REST endpoint which will return the list of student objects. Great. Now what we'll do in this controller class, what we'll do now, suppose this is a list of students and I want only the list of students whose surname is Mane, right? Whose surname is Mane, I want only that list of students, right? Or whose surname is Ubade, I want only that number of students or the name of that student. So what we'll do is we'll write one again, public list of student get students by surname. So here we'll use this student service dot get students. Now it will return us the list. So I will use stream dot filter, and what is my filter condition is when I will receive a student object, what I have to do, student dot get last name dot equals ignore case. Here we will require surname. So simply now it will return us a list of students. Okay, we can directly return this also. Okay, so what we have done, I will explain you. So this student service dot get students, this get students method will return a list of student, right? Okay, fine. So I am calling a stream. I am converting this list into a stream so that I can use stream class methods. And after converting that list into a stream, I am filtering that stream using some condition. What is that condition? For each and every student object, I am checking the last name, and I am checking either that last name is equals to the surname given by the client, right? And if it is equal, then it will get filtered out, and I am just collecting it to the list and I am returning it. So now this method only returns the list of students which are having the surname passed to this method. So now in order to make this as a REST endpoint, I have to use request mapping. Again, here are two ways that how we can pass this surname from the client. That can be a path variable or query parameter also. So many students get confused in between path variable and query parameter. I will show both the things. So first of all, we'll check as a path variable. So to make it as a path variable, we have to use this curly brace, and inside this I have to pass surname, right? And here I have to use add path variable annotation, and inside this I have to mention the variable name which is same as this name, surname. See, I will tell you, this surname and this surname must be same. This can be different. For example, I will make it as a surname, right? So from the browser, whatever the surname entered by the client, that will come here, and from here to here, and from here to here. So this and this should be same. So this is a path variable, and we'll write another method. Get students by surname query, let's say, and here there is no need to use these things. And here, instead of path variable, we have to use request parameterization, right? Great. So I will tell you what is the difference between these two. Just run this app and we'll check. So get run application, run as springboot app. Yeah, so our server is up and running. 8080 port number. So here, if we'll hit this endpoint, we are getting list of students, right? So instead of students, I will write as, what is that endpoint? Let me check once. So here we have to just pass the surname. We don't have to give this endpoint, right? We have to just pass the surname. So slash, instead of students, I will pass surname as Mani. So see, it is just giving me the list of students whose surname is Mani. Now instead of Mani, I will give as Ubadi. So it is giving me only one student. So see, this is I am passing through a path, localhost /8080/Ubadi or /Mani. So this is a path variable. So whenever I am calling this as a, I am passing this surname from the path, it will execute this method, right? Path variable. Now I will pass the query parameter. So let's check what is the syntax to pass the query parameter. So question mark, key value pair is there, surname is equal to Mani. See, so it is giving me only the students whose surname is Mani. Now I will give Ubadi, and it is giving me only the students whose surname is Ubadi. So what is the difference between a path variable and query parameter? So in a path variable, you have to pass the variable from the path, but here we are passing as a query using question mark. Question mark, this is a key, surname is key, and Ubadi is a value, and this surname should match with this surname here. Syntax. So in request param, it will catch this surname key here, and it will pass to this and then check, right? So yeah, thank you. In the next lecture, we'll try to do a CRUD operation. Yeah, thanks.